There's so much time consumed in doing three-ways by the professional. If you take a stopwatch and measure how long you're taking, it's 25% of the work in a house. We just set those in. Sometimes you have to pull the tape down a little, sometimes you have to push it in a little when you're using a bazooka or something like that. When you're doing it by hand, you take the time to fold it in there, you still push or adjust, but you make sure that all three of your tapes come into that touch inside of that corner. You're going to be grabbing the roller and pressing. You got to be careful as you push your tape one way or the other. It's a good thing to start in the middle, go one direction lightly, and then back. This is the general. And just, usually you leave the mud in the corner so you got something to work with for cleaning out your corner. It all has to be done by hand, no matter what system you're using. So here, I'm going to make sure these tapes are over. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's it cleaned out, but that all has to be coated. And that's, you can only coat at the most 2 of these angles at the same time. This, if you tried here to coat all 3 angles, you just won't be able to get a neat enough job out of it. It's important that you literally bury those tapes, no matter what method you're using. You don't have to have that tape butt right into your corner, which is already starting to save you time in how you place your tapes, no matter what system you use. That's good enough. Okay, the angles are run. You can see they were quicker because I don't have to butt right into that 3-way. I'm going to use a 6-inch knife, place our mud now, get ready for a 3-way. Take your mud, just make sure it's fairly thin, but you want to be able to control it in your pan, but you still need it thin enough behind your 3-way. So, always remember, putting mud on this flap here is what's going to glue this to the back of the 3-way here. So it's going to make the seal. So when you place that in, you press it in quickly, make sure it's all in there tight, and then just wipe up that. As you can see, that's the first coat in there. We were able to skim out the edge of the 3-way. Yeah, the reason we have a flap in here for this to be able to adjust like this is the 3-way is rarely going to be perfectly squared out. So sometimes you need to be able to adjust the variation this way. When that happens, then you just have a slight area here you have to fill with some mud. That's it. This is made out of 2 different layers of very particular type of paper, so that when you wipe this 3-way in, this edge tapers down below this edge so that you can fill the difference, skim in the difference there, which blends it directly into your wall. You never have to go inside of this 3-way. Only thing is to press this one edge down to make sure that it's laying tight against the other side. Our next step here is going to be to sand and coat out the angles in the 3-ways again. But the 3-way here is already all dry. Over here, there's still a lot of moisture left in there. I'm going to try to coat it anyhow, but there's a lot of moisture in there because there's just way more volume of mud that's required for filling out the traditional 3-way. You want to sand out ridges and any excess little chips of mud that are in there. Here's this ridge here. I just want to take that ridge off. Now when you're sanding out the three-way here, because it's just a quick brush, you don't have to go deep into the angle. So when you're sanding out this one here, you gotta go in deep into that angle. So we're going to quickly recoat these angles. There's a number of ways of doing it. One is with a box. You pump mud into the box. It has a head on it that you press in, keep even, and you can coat those angles. There's a system where you pull mud up in a tube, put the head into the angle, and you can put your mud in there and then flush over top of it. This three-way, finish coating it. This one here, just a quick skimming of the angle. I don't know if it shows up on film, but you can see the bevel of it is now filled, and you retain the beauty of the almost sharp angles without having to go directly into the center. This three-way here, we should be able to just skim the top from the previous coat. And this one here, you're going to have to build up pretty good. This one's ready to sand. It's perfect. Here, it would require another coat because it's still gouging just a bit. Still needs some rough sanding and some filling. That should do it. All right, both three ways are completed now, so we're going to just sand them out, and that's the final step to it. So we'll just quickly take off what we need. That three-way is complete. Okay, this is our traditional three-way that we're going to sand out now. Let's take up that edge. Okay. The traditional three-way is sanded out now as well.
Thank you.
When you're dealing with a paper tape, you have to cover it completely because the surface itself is not paintable. The three-way paper is paintable. You do not have to cover it with mud. That's part of what makes it so quick to work with and sand out, is you don't have to go deep into it. You just are sanding along the edge that you had to skim. I want them to understand about the three-way. One, your apprentice can now do a three-way as fast or faster than you can. This is one of the more difficult things in drywall for even a journeyman to do, and that's that three-way. This three-way insert makes it so that any homeowner, any painter wanting to impress his clients can make the perfect three-way. It takes nothing to coat it. You just skim that edge. You can see this edge over here and the other one has been skimmed twice. That's adequate for your first coat.